والآن تبقى الكلمة لسعادة الأستاذ غسان بن ناصر الخوجة، الممثل المقيم للبنك الدولي في دولة الكويت، فليتفضل ليلقي كلمته. تفضل أستاذ غسان.
شكرا استاذ احمد، والشكر للجميع والحضور. اسمحوا لي ان انتقل للغه الانجليزيه، لكن اعتقد ان هناك ترجمه فوريه لجميع الحضور. السلام طبعا للاخ العزيز الصديق الدكتور الاخ وليد الخشتي. First of all, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to thank you for this opportunity to speak at this important conference. With a very special thanks to Her Excellency, Mr. Nafi, the Undersecretary of the Ministry of Finance, Economic Affairs and Investment, and to Dr. Hanadi Mbaraki for assembling such an impressive conference year after year. I will speak today on digitalization in the MENA region, and specifically from the World Bank report titled "The Upside of Digital for the Middle East and North Africa: How Digital Technology Adoption Can Accelerate Growth and Create Jobs." The argument that digitization helps to sustain economic activity has never been more obvious than during the crisis brought about by the global COVID pandemic. The report argues that the MENA region is suffering from a digital paradox. The region's use of social media account is relatively very high than what would be expected given its level of gross domestic product. Yet its use of digital tools such as the internet to make payment is very low. The good news is that socioeconomic upside of digitalization of the economy of countries in the Middle East and North Africa is probably very huge. The main explanation for the upside is that digital technologies reduce informational costs that constrain economic transaction. The report provides 3 concrete examples from our countries of this mechanism at work. The first example describes how data from digital platforms provide information about the quality of ride-hailing service providers, overcoming information asymmetry between drivers and riders, and contributing to improved service quality over time. The second example describes the role of digital technologies, specifically ICTs, in enabling firms in Palestine to overcome physical barriers to mobility. The third example highlights tourism service providers' use of the internet to disseminate information, thereby increasing demand for tourism services. The key question is how fast the MENA region can approach universal coverage of digital infrastructure, and how the deployment of digital infrastructure services should be targeted. A second key question is how the region can achieve the widespread adoption of digital payment tools. Achieving widespread adoption of digital payments will require efforts to increase digitalizations among the underserved, to enhance the functioning of financial and telecom sectors, and to build societal trust in the government and related institutions such as banks and financial service firms. What we heard from Mr. Khashti is that Zain has been really at the forefront, and we see the telecom sectors in many of our countries are leading these efforts, and this is very nice, very great to see. The report offers a policy agenda covering 3 foundational pillars of the digital economy: digital infrastructure, digital payments, and regulations for e-commerce. While the foundational pillars are necessary for the digital economy to grow, they are by no means sufficient, as underscored by the region's digital paradox and its ICT level being broadly comparable to those of other regions with regard to coverage, cost of service, download speeds, particularly for mobile broadband services. Rather, the region's digital infrastructure constraints are more likely linked to conditions in the telecom sector. The analysis shows the importance of fostering liberalization and competition in telecoms market, which in turn requires granting independence to the telecom regulatory authorities. New data indicates that the region has an important reform agenda to pursue with regard to the regulatory framework for e-commerce, particularly with respect to consumer protection, data protection, and cybersecurity. Middle-income countries in the MENA region are comparable to middle-income countries in other regions, except in the areas of electronic signatures, data privacy, online consumer protection, and cybersecurity. In contrast, high-income countries in the MENA region compare well with high-income countries in other regions in terms of electronic documents and e-signatures, but lag with respect to other regulatory areas. Lastly, the massive amount of social and economic data being generated poses challenges and risks stemming from how the data are accessed, safeguarded, processed, and deployed. Trust in using digital payments might be boosted quickly by implementing e-government mechanisms, e-government options such as digital cash transfers, digitized payment mechanisms for public services, and shift to e-procurement hold great promise to facilitating the rapid expansion in use of digital money. The report calls for increased efforts by governments in the MENA region to realize promise of digital technologies to foster innovation and entrepreneurship. I invite you to download the report and to internalize the findings towards action. Thank you again, and wish you the best for the rest of the conference. I will share a link to the report in the chat section if it's accessible to all. Thank you.